Hello and welcome to the fifth week of our content writing workshop. Today we are going to talk about website content, what web page writing requires, what it is all about, what you need to know. We will also address the pillars of web content writing. That means how to make web pages effective for, of course, their purpose. As mentioned in the previous lecture, web pages are a form of copywriting, and their objective is to promote a particular service or a product. And we'll also talk about the importance of the aesthetic appeal that a web page should have, and how your content writing expertise plays a very important role in website development. We will also talk about the relationship between content and web design, and we will also discuss keywords, meta tags, and other features of web content. So I will share my notes with you, and you can always go over them and feel free to ask questions at the end of the lecture. So to start with, web content basically is the content that goes on a website. In the beginning of this course, I had explained that websites have pages. These are home pages, workshop pages. This is on Symbolic Text Developers on my company's website, and every other business that owns a website has web pages. So these are individually web pages. You can see all these are all web pages, and each web page has a different role, as you can see. When we talk about digital marketing services, this page is dedicated to digital marketing services and the information that we are offering potential clients. If you look at the details here, you will realize that it is centered on digital marketing. Likewise, this page is designed for web hosting, and you can see that the design will be according to the purpose of this page. Its purpose is to offer our hosting services to potential clients. The About Us page is, from the name you can see, it's talking about us, about what we do, what makes us a better choice for potential clients that will be visiting this website, and we hope that this information helps them make up their mind to hire our services. So as a content writer, as a when it comes to web pages, you as a writer have to be creative and focus on details that will help visitors coming to the website get the information they need and try to convince them into taking an action. On this website, you can see our goal is to get them to book for a consultation, and we are offering a free consultation. So along the line, when you read through the content, you will realize that we are trying to give them reasons to talk to us, try to know us a bit better. And you see, when it comes to writing for a website, as a writer, your role is to make sure that whatever you write fits into the design of the website. Every website has a different design, as you can see. Here earlier on we had text coming through. This was the headline, and our writer had to fit in the content into the space. So he had to calculate that, okay, this is the number of words required, and keeping that in mind, he thought about good headlines. The same goes here, and when it comes to these aspects here, these features of this web page, he had to fit in the content into this space. So as a web copywriter, it's your duty to make sure that whatever you write looks aesthetically appealing, because you don't want things to move out of their natural space, and you don't want the whole theme to look messed up and non-symmetrical in different ways. Here's another example of a website that I felt would be a good way to start, because we usually have designs to do, and like this part you can see is a brief 3-worded headline. So the writer had to look for 3 words to fit in here, 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 and he had to make sure that the content fits into this place without causing the design to collapse, because sometimes if the content does not fit in, it would move these things away from their normal position. So as a copywriter, as a web content writer, when you're writing web pages, you have to make sure that your content fits in such a way that it looks aesthetically appealing. Okay, so I think we have already covered the first two parts here. Let's talk about the pillars of web content writing. Okay, one important detail that this part is highlighting is from the SEO point of view. You see, when it comes to writing web pages, sometimes, in most cases in fact, if there is an SEO team in the company handling this project, they would assign keywords to every page, and you as a copywriter will have to make sure that you use those keywords in the web pages without making them look awkward, and keeping the SEO writing guidelines that I discussed in the previous lectures, making sure that they apply on the web pages. That means the keyword density, the positioning of the keyword, once in the first paragraph, in the main title, in the subheadings, things like that. You will have to keep them in mind as a writer. It's your duty to do that. And of course, proofread, make sure you have done it before you submit your work always. The next thing we're going to talk about is the pillars of web content writing. That is how to make the web pages effective. What is it that the people visiting the web page would want to look for? As a copywriter, you should get into the client psychology, connect with them, and that will mean you have to think about their need. What do they need, and what kind of information can your copy offer to them within the first 20 seconds so that it captures their attention and convinces them that yeah, they are at the right place right now, and this is where they will find help or whatever he or she is looking for. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, you have to make sure that the content is simple, organized, and informative. So make sure there is a good flow on the web page. Do not let the information be haphazard and senselessly organized. As a copywriter, it's your duty to organize the information on the web pages as you see fit. That is why when we were writing this content, we had to plan the subheadings. We had to make sure that there is a proper flow and a sequence here, and all of these falling into place as well. Everything on this page has to be connected basically. That's the same principle we applied on all our service pages. So make sure as a copywriter you keep these things in mind. I have listed these pillars here, so let us just briefly go over them. Make sure that the title of the page is a core topic. Like I said, if it is about us, make sure that the title or the first subheading that is visible to the person visiting the page is related to the page title. Then the title must be a part of the URL. This is not exactly for you, but the SEO person, I'm actually talking from this point of view that most people taking this course are also taking the SEO course that we are offering, and some of them are also taking the digital marketing course, so they will be going through these lectures as well. And that is why I have to mention this detail, that if you are an SEO specialist or if you are a digital marketer in the making, when you're designing the web pages, the keyword you assign for that content must be a part of the URL. And for everybody taking this course, as long as it is relevant to your field, make sure that the keyword is in the H1 tag. That is basically, when it comes to web pages, the title of the page is the H1 tag in most cases. And if you're working with the WordPress, usually it automatically goes into the H1 tag. The main page title is usually the H1 tag. Then as a writer, you must use informative bullets and subheadings, and try to organize the content properly. So in some cases, depending on the design of the website, you might have to use bullets. If it is not an option, then of course go with whatever the design template is like, and follow the design template as much as you can. For easy navigation, use anchor texts. This is something for SEO experts and web designers. They have anchor texts are basically when you hyperlink something on a particular word. So I will explain that in the coming lectures, and if I miss it, please do feel free to ask me personally in your emails or messages. Insert catchy images that describe the information on the web page. Sometimes as a freelancer, as a copywriter, you might be given instructions by your client to include images, so make sure you search for those, include them there. Use keywords in the alternate text. Alternate text is usually in the image, so Usually as a writer you might not be assigned the task of publishing it on WordPress. If you are, just keep this in mind. But otherwise SEO experts and digital marketers will know what this means, and they have to add it on the image. Then you have to use H2, H3, H4 tags throughout the content. Make sure you do that. Mention and focus the core topic. Make sure, like I said before, if you're talking about the About Us page, make sure it's related to the main title. Do not go off the point. We have this page here. You can see this is the keywords used in the link, in the URL, like I mentioned earlier in this video, and we have used it as a primary keyword in the H1 tag. Look at it here, and it is in a subheading here. And you will find variations of digital marketing agency and things like that. Here we have digital marketing services here. And while writing, you make sure that you meet the SEO requirements. Mention and focus the core topic. Like I said, focus on what it is. Do not go off the topic. Link internally. This is also for developers and even content writers. It's a good practice if you're writing web pages. Try to link the content in between. Somewhere mention it, like the company profile has been mentioned on the About Us page, and at least it depends. Wherever it's relevant, you should interlink it. Like, see, we have linked it to our company profile here. Include at least one internal link where relevant. The button, the back button in the design can be a plus. This is for developers and designers who might be taking this course. Another important aspect of web page writing is to make sure the information you write is valid. Do not write anything that is misleading or that can cause a customer some confusion, or just be honest. Do not lie about anything. We at Symbolic Text Developers are honest about everything, and perhaps that is one of our strongest points, and that is why we have a high customer satisfaction rate. I cannot insist on how aesthetic appeal is important for web developers and digital marketers who are taking this course. So make sure that the design of the website is awesome. As a writer, it's your duty to make sure that the content attracts the visitor's attention. Make sure that the content makes an amazing first impression. Make sure that the content tends to build a lasting relationship with clients. It should increase patience and tolerance with the clients, and it should evoke emotions in the person to connect with the owner of the business, or with the team as a whole, or with the service or product, and want it. And it should lead to sales. The content should lead to sales and an increase in traffic, because you should use the keywords appropriately. Help with effective branding. Of course, make sure that you are branding the business and highlighting why it is better than other competitors in the market. Social media integration goes a long way in branding, so of course make sure your content is suitable for sharing on social media. Relationship between content and web design. Well, it is a very simple relationship. If the content does not appear attractive, he or she will just feel like he's wasting time on the website. So you have to make sure that the design and the content are going hand in hand. Do not make subheadings or details that are not fitting in properly. Like I said before, plan the content very, very well. Make sure it stands out. Okay. Then we have to talk about from the designer's perspective, the colors, the fonts, everything matters. Web pages are actually the main tool that allows potential interested clients to connect with the business. So you can't take it lightly. The content writers cannot take it lightly. The web designers cannot take it lightly. And as a digital marketer, you have to keep all these things in mind. It's your duty to do that. In the previous lecture, we talked about meta descriptions and meta titles. I would like to shed more light on what meta keywords, meta tags, keywords, and other features are important in web content. Here are some bullets that are good best practices for writing an effective web copy. So use the keyword in the main title, use it in the first paragraph, in at least one subheading, in the conclusion. Maintain a keyword density of 1 to 2%, and use it in the meta description. Do not exceed 160 characters. Keep it between 150 155. It's ideal. When we talk about meta tags, you see these are usually keywords or words that can help Google identify the relevance of the content, and it kind of plays an important role when it comes to Google selecting content to show in the search results. So this is for publishers. If you are a content writer publishing the article on WordPress, you can include the keywords or variations of the keywords in the meta tags. And there are HTML formats as well. Like I explained, you can type the meta tags like this. The opening will be like this, and you can type your sentence, whatever, and then this is the end of a meta tag. If you're talking about the H1 tag, this is how it would be. You can write the title here and end it like this. This is the HTML format basically. So if you find yourself in a situation, you can always make those inclusions and publish it. Although I think nowadays WordPress is the most common platform because even business owners find it very easy to use. Meta description, I've explained a summary which Google uses and shows under the title. So you can write a meta description that is 160 characters. Make sure the title is not more than 70 characters. Alternate text, this is the used in the feature image when you upload content, and this will be too complex for content writers, so I don't think I will go into much details, but I'm sure web developers and digital marketers taking this course will understand what it means. This is not so important for content writers, but just for the sake of know-how, alternate text usually is part of a good SEO practice, and alt text usually has a primary keyword that the content is focusing on. So we have come to the end of this lecture, and I hope everything was easy to understand. If not, I'm just a message away. Feel free to contact me and we will go over this together. I will assign an exercise maybe related to this, but I will insist that you should practice on your own. The more you practice, the better. So have a nice day.